Okay, let me see if I can back and let me see if I can share it again. Well, let me, I don't want to have that issue again. So what I did is, it's simple. So I got all my list, right? I put it first put it on paper because again, my brain thinks faster like that. So I got like 24 lists, perfect. Now let me run sort by the tag and let's say pre-foreclosures, all tag, boom, put it on it in one smart list. So I have all those in my smart list, right? I have 24 smart lists. Then I downloaded, let's say the pre-foreclosure. I downloaded that. I removed everything, just kept the number and the tag, the original main tag, which is going to be the pre-foreclosure. Because then I might have tag phone one or phone two, niche data, or when I pulled it, etc. But I just want to have the original tag, which is the pre-foreclosure. So then I did all of them, right? The 24 lists, I downloaded them, the same thing, stripped them, and then I put them all into a master file. One master, just phone numbers and tags, main tags. And then from there, all I did is just run duplicate for the phone numbers. So I ran, well, first I sorted it out. So if the pre-foreclosure, I ran it by duplicates also as well before I matched them over to the original one, to the main data, phone data points. So let's say I had 1,000 original pre-foreclosure data points. Then I scrubbed it so I can remove the duplicates. So basically, let's say out of 1,000, I probably have like 100 of them were duplicates, so it went down to 900. So all of the lists within itself were run for duplicates, and all the duplicates were removed. And then I patched them up into one big data point that gave me like around 50,000 numbers. Boom. And then from there, I run duplicate, a duplicate, what's it called? Not a duplicate, it was called a counter. How many times does this number come out? And then it went from one time to two, three, and eventually it came down to I had like 100 of data points that came out in 5 different lists. And usually you pay for that. Again, you know me, I'm trying to be as savvy as possible because I don't like to spend money when I know I can do it manually. So then I had like it was like around 248 data points that at least came out twice in 2 different lists. So those are my hot list. So then I re-uploaded that, and I did it as I put stacks. Again, the leads are stacked in multiple lists. That was my main stack for the data that I already had. And I was like, okay, so how do every time that I upload new data, how do I run it against that? So I kept the data bank of the ones that I have. It's like 49,000, I think. And then every time that I upload, let's say I upload it first to my RI reply, boom, 1,000 numbers for, let's say, liens. And then I download that same list, boom, download it, right? So that I can have the same, what's called, once the tags are there, I have the same, what's called, format. But then I download it, I strip it, I just keep the number in the main tag, and then I upload it to my main bank of data, of phone numbers. And then since it has a code already for the counter, it'll tell me, and I highlight the new ones. Let's say there was 1,000 new ones. I highlight those, and then I trigger, okay, what have out of these numbers, the new 1,000, how many times do they come? They shouldn't come more than once if they're not duplicates. But if they do come as duplicates, that means they're in another data point as well. So then I upload those. Hey, I upload that with that tag stacks, and I upload it to the library reply, and it goes into my stack, what's it called, into my stack smart list. So that's the way I did it to keep it as simple as possible and free. All right. So now I know how to basically upload into the data and run it against my stacks to see what multiple points have been there. Now, like I'm telling you guys, there is free software out there that they charge for this. And again, no, there's not free. There's software out there you can pay for on a monthly basis. Again, I try to this year's I'm trying to minimize costs, maximize profits, and whatever I can use from my head and try to put it in paper, I try to do. So that helped me. So then what my VA is doing, as far as my co-caller, he's doing that. He's going to be hitting that list. That list has to be hit consistently. I put him on, again, I save for my dollar. So the $110 I was paying for my dollar, I stripped it. I'm not saving it anymore. And then what I'm doing is basically I'm, what's it called? Have him call. And usually it's 300 numbers that he can dial. The reason why I gave him the 300 number target, because when I did it, I did like 50 numbers an hour that I could dial. 50 numbers, and usually you get like 3 or 4 conversations. So again, and I tell them, you know what, let it ring 30, 40 seconds and then hang it up. Don't leave a voicemail, don't leave a text. Automatically the RI reply will send a text and we'll send a voicemail. So just wait for there. Again, literally just wait. I know it's idle time. Just wait 30 seconds, 40 seconds, boom, and go next, and go next until you get one. And again, I know it's not the dialer that I was doing, but I was okay. I just stepped back. If we can do 300 numbers, and I have a list of 3,000 numbers, in 10 days. 10 days he can go through that list on average. So I was like, I'm paying him. What is the number that I'm paying him? Hold on, let me just check. I'm paying him, what is it? When he goes again, and there's a VA, I like his tone, and I like that he's not the best person that can be reliable, but when he's there, he's great. When he's there, he's great. So that's why his salary is not at where it needs to be, because he's not as consistent. And I told him, I cannot pay you more than what I'm paying you right now because you're not consistent. Again, I'm not paying for consistency. I'm paying you for when you're there, you're good. So that salary reflects when you're good. So if he does work the whole 40 hours, if he doesn't, I'm paying him $120. So I'm paying him $100 a week on average. So I was like, I pay him, let's say a worst case scenario, I'm paying him $110, right? Times 4, that's $440 a month, right? Now my other VA is consistently 20 hours plus that. So I pay my other VA that does all my scrapes. I'm paying her $60 an hour, $60 a week. So that's $240 plus $440. So them two, for the whole year, I'm paying them $8,100. So they had to at least give me a deal that can cover their, and I already got a couple of deals. The Facebook Gorilla was through that. My person that my VA that does my Facebook Gorilla bumps. I got that deal. I need to lock it, close it out for that one. I got a couple of deals through lien notification. They haven't closed, but they look promising. That's one that I have in the contract. I got it for 12,000, and I should be closing in around 42,000, which is good. That's a good deal. That'll pay for that one. But when you're consistent, you get paid. But when you're not, both of them will get a bonus once I do close it. But yeah, they get paid for the level of work that I'm giving them and the consistency. So that's where I'm at with them too. But yeah, I have other techniques that I'm gonna be doing. A little bit crazy, but we'll see. But they're free. They're a little bit crazy. It just takes me time. They're not what's it called. They're not expensive. But I'll fill you guys in once I'm further down to actually implementing them. But yeah, that's the one that he's been working on those. Again, I'm paying a guy locally here in my area $100 per week every month. So basically, what usually works twice. 2 days out of the week to finish. I'm basically mapping the areas that I want, and I'm doing consistently marketing them every single month, once a month, the same marketing. Again, and I'm not only that, I'm also targeting them through SMSs. I'm also targeting them through what's it called, cold calling, and I drive the area. The issue with the reply, and when I reply, the issue with the Twilio and all that info as far as the phone numbers, I was reading through it. And if you don't do over 3,000, then you're good. If your business account does not text over 3,000, then you're good. You don't have to do all that BS registering. So I just keep it under 3,000. Remember, I don't market mass. I just market niche information. So I'm worst case scenario, I'm probably texting 1,000 a day. I don't text that much. At the beginning I was, because I had a lot of data points that I wanted to do, and I got a couple of deals, but it was kind of just throwing a dart in the dark, and hopefully something stuck. And it did a couple of times, right? But this year, again, minimizing my cost, looking at what worked, looking at what didn't work, and going from there. So yeah, that's been the marketing that I'm doing, strategizing for this year. Doing that one. The other one is going to be pretty good, pretty cool as far as how I'm going to do it. Also free. Just I need to buy 10 phones, and I'll keep you guys in the loop on that one once it's coming down to where it's actually working. but yeah, again, my marketing strategies are working. Again, last month was craziness. The system, again, I don't have a complex system. I know sometimes when people say, oh, you have to have a system. It sounds complicated. It sounds complex. Mine's was simple. Again, I have my VA that does my scrapes. I have to pull, again, the good thing about the data that he scrubs, the data that she actually scrapes for me, I do the initial scrape because it's easier for me. She probably can take probably a whole day to do what I can do in 20 minutes. So again, I do that myself. And then I pull it. So the good thing about that is that I can do it at 3, 4 in the morning. I don't have to do it during business hours. So basically that's what she does for me. I pull the data and she scrapes it, and then I skip trace it. Once I need to basically delegate it for her. But again, I don't want to, she's good at doing scraping at a good cost, a good price, and a good speed. Then I don't want to overwhelm her doing the skip tracing. So I have to do the skip tracing, just literally submitting it. That's going to be one of the things that was important. So I just do is what I was going through the month last month. I was doing at 3 or 4 in the morning, doing the scrapes, giving it to her. She gets it for me. 3 or 4 days later, I do the scraping, the skip tracing, then I upload it to iReply, and then I have my guy just do calls. I know he does like around the clock, 300 calls a day. It's simple. He shouldn't be, it's too much. It's 300 calls, dude. So I was doing that, and little by little, the ones that needing my attention as far as the leads, I'll call them, lock them up. Again, if I can go to their house, I'll go lock them up there. If I did a couple of more e-signature, contract, which worked for me. I was a little bit shy from that before. E-docs, again, it's just a mental barrier. So this is what I'm doing now. That helped me lock some deals. Again, the good thing about following up with with the title companies, emails and calls. I would usually email like 3 or 4 in the morning. Hey, what's up? What's going on with this deal? What's going on with this? And again, they were okay. They were able to answer me over the phone, over the email. And if you, to be honest with you, again, I'm real persistent. If they don't answer me, that the next day, and by 10 in the morning, I'm sending an email that I copy in the same email and then sending it back to them until they respond. Again, it shouldn't be like that. It should be that where they're supposed to call me because I'm paying for the fees, but it's not. They're crazy. They keep on doing it where I have to call them back to follow up. Hey, it's the nature of the beast. We can't change them. They're the way they are. So yeah, that's the one that helped me. So that was I was going through what happened last month. I was going through, still doing the scraping, still getting it scraped by my VA, still script traced, uploaded to iReply, texting them automatically, put them in. That's good thing about the iReply. It has just uploaded to a campaign, let it work. I had the trigger, so whenever I had a specific word like what offer, it gives a trigger, and that the trigger goes into a hot reply, and the hot reply sends me a text with what they replied. So then I look at it, and then I have the iReply in my phone. The thing that I don't know how to do, and I don't think iReply has, is to have, let's say I'm at 3 in the morning. Oh shit, I have a text. I want to schedule it there. Now with my Mighty Text, I can schedule it if it's in my burner phone, in my business phone. But in iReply, I can't schedule it. But I'm there. I was like, well, I'm here already. Let me schedule a text to go out at 3 in the afternoon. I can't do it. So basically, I had to wait. If I'm on the phone, I have to wait. If they reply to me and I don't have time to go into the computer, then I have to wait. I wish they had that where I can text in the future. They do the way that I did around it is, let's say it's crazy. You have to create a campaign basically. So let's say you want to text this guy in November next year, right? And you don't want to forget about it. Of course, it's gonna be on your November 18th. You're gonna tag it. So when you hit November 18th, it gets there. But let's say you want to do the work right now. As far as I already know what I'm going to text them. You can save it as a notes, but again, I already know what I'm going to text them. So what I did, I have a campaign that does text and voicemail, right? And again, I have several numbers. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So whoever, I don't know this part as far as, you know how you have different numbers, but when you go to our reply, it's all in one text metric, and it has different users names. I don't know if you text from this username, does the person on the other side gets it from that number or gets it from the original number? That's what I don't know. But I'm thinking it gets it from a new number, so she gets a whole brand new text. So I was like, I can't do that. So what I did is let's say I want to text this guy in December of 2020. Let's say I want to text him in May 1st of 2022. But I'm here, I'm working in right now, I'm working it today. So what I did, I have a campaign. So I create a campaign, let's say follow-up campaign, phone number 1, right? And let's say if it's a generic number, if it's generic, what's it called? A generic, what's it called? A generic message like, hey, we talked about your house, any updates? If it's generic, then perfect. Oh, remember one of the things, if it has a voicemail, you have to put it second. You cannot put it first, because if you put it first, it'll automatically send the text right there and then. If you're scheduling it at 3 a.m, it'll send it. Again, it'll send it whenever within the morning, the next morning, but it won't save it for future. That's what I've seen. So what I did, I put the text first and I put the voicemail second. So let's say I want to text this guy in a generic text. Hey, what's up? We talking about your house. Any updates? But I'm working the data point right now. So, but I want to save it for May the 1st. I already know what I'm going to text him. So then I added the campaign, I updated the campaign, and then when I go into the actual reply, I do add to campaign, and then I put the campaign number and I put it scheduled at a future date, and then add it. So it should go out. Again, I haven't seen those. I haven't followed up with those no more. As I do them, I don't follow up to see if the next day to see if they texted there or there's text in the future. But eventually, once I hit it again May 1st, I'll see it. Oh, it texted back then, or it texted correctly. So I add it to the campaign on a certain day and I send it. Let's say for any reason it has to be a more specific text. It's gonna have to say, hey, what's up, man? Your house, man, I was gonna give you 80K, but you said no. Did you sell it, or are you still good with the 80K? Actually, it's 70 now. And I want to see something specific like that, but I want to do a schedule for the future. Because let's say I just spoke to him and we spoke about that specific. Oh, I want 80, I want 70, whatever. And then I want to text him back in the future. Hey, what's up, man? You still want that 80? But I want it specific. So what I do is go back to the campaign. I modify the text to say that, and then I forward it. And when I save it, and then when I go into my error reply, my actual lead manager, I go in there and I add it to the campaign, and I put the date. I add the campaign that has that 80K specific message, and I put it there, and then I added it to the campaign with a future date, and then I save it, and it's saved. And hopefully in May 1st, when I check it, it'll send that text on May 1st. Why do you want to do it now, not in the future? Because right now my mind is fresh. And again, because I can definitely do it, but I can do it in May 1st. But what I have to do right now, if I want to do it in May 1st, is that I have to data dump all that I have into and paste it in like put it in the notes. And that does double work. Basically, you got to put, I'd rather just put it in a text, hey, what's going on, and then save it and then forward it to him in May the 1st. That way I know. It saves me a step. It's crazy, but it works. That's something that I wish that RealReply did, that had a text option that you can save a text for the future to be delivered. A specific text in the actual lead manager, not to go to the campaigns and with the way I'm doing that. I'm using the system to do it, not like that. I want something that's automatic. But yeah, that's what I've been doing with the RealReply. And just again, the stacks was one thing that I did to RealReply. It's gonna help me get more deals. The triggers to simplify it, systematize it, whenever it's a good deal. Whenever my BA gets a lead, and it puts a specific tag, I told him put the tag and then put this, and automatically text me what he texts on his notes, and text me the number and the address of what it is. So that way I know the lead. Once I get here, like before I get to my computer, I see, oh, it's a lead. Oh, it's about it. Okay, perfect. And if it's a hot lead and it makes sense, I'll go on it right now and work it. If it's a hot lead, it's an okay lead that I can work on the next day. Okay, let me work the next day as I go through whatever, as far as bringing my focus into managing my time a little bit better. But that helps me. Again, just being consistent like that, relying on the systems. It's simple. It shouldn't be called systems. Just again, call it automatic. Ultimate. No, put Mr. Automatic. Because system sounds really complex. and it kind of makes it what's it called, not when I do it, but mine is just, it's super simple. It's like 10 different steps, and it helps me be running like a business, but with basically me running everything. I think my medicine just fell out. But yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy with that, and it's worked. Again, it proved the concept last month that it worked. I was still closing deals. I was still getting deals. I was still being able to run the business, and which is good. That means that even if you step out, if I can still be at the head and do 10% of what I do, it makes the business still run, which is good. It proved the concept forcefully, like it forced it to. It forced it to prove itself, and it worked. Yeah. One of the things that also, again, the market is crazy in my area. I think the house across the street from where I'm at, the new house that I'm at, it sold for 150 square feet, 150 bucks a square feet. So that's good. That means this house is worth around, you guys already know how much this house, I got it for as far as the price, and it's up there. And I'm thinking with, again, the good thing about inflation and real estate are kind of like best buddies. The inflation goes up, real estate is kind of strong. So I'm thinking if we keep it for 5 years, it's a big chunk of change that's going to be able to benefit from the sale. And again, you guys know this property was able to acquire through real estate skills that I teach and that I showed you guys a while ago. Let me see, I got a text from here. Let me just reply to it. Oh, and one of the things that as far as that I just saw right now, my VA that does the cold calls, when he does the cold calls, I have different campaigns, right? Cold call, POA, cold call, will, etc. So he has a list of, I give him like a really wrong description of, okay, a lien. What's a lien? These properties are the ones that either have long grass, they're not up to code, they have cars in the front, they're vacant, etc. So he knows all that. So basically, when he calls those persons, I told him, hey, well, Mr. X, yeah, you're the owner of a 123 Main Street. Like, yeah, okay, perfect. Well, again, my boss is looking to buy properties in that area. I know there's some properties in that area that have like long grass, and the city has been messing with them with the lien notifications and charging them $300 to cut the grass and just being hassling them. Are you open to maybe getting a cash offer for your house? Again, the deal that I got last month was one like that, where he mentioned that and like, yeah, actually, by the way, the city has been sending me what's called notifications because of that, and then et cetera, et cetera. And then when I'm going to go see it, the actual city put a notice there, not a dumping zone. Since it's a vacant lot, people are just dumping stuff in there, and the owner is getting all this information, and the owner it's out of state. Like, he doesn't have time to, and he's like, you know what, I don't want to do anything with it. So he's like, give me a good deal, good price, it makes sense. And again, it worked out. And so again, I actually told him that now that he's working power of attorneys, POAs, I tell him this power of attorney is where, and I kind of explained to him where he can relate to it. Let's say your mom, Miss Enrique, your mom needs, she has a house, and usually the only reason why you do POAs and you record it, it's either you're dying, or there's a property that you want to handle. So it's like, when your mom's gonna get sick and she can no longer sign for herself, she's gonna give you power of attorney. And the only reason why you want to record it in the county, or the only reason why you want to make it public, is because you got to do something that has to have has to be notified to the county, as far as notification that now you were the signer of this person. And 90% of the time it's because there's a property attached to it. So again, when you reach out to these clients, you know those properties might be vacant. Those properties might have a lien notification. Those properties might be distressed. Those properties might be not vacant, but just nobody attends to them. So you bring that pain point to the table. Yeah, it's again, yeah, because again, my mom are you the owner of the Main Street? Oh yeah, I'm the owner of the Main Street. Okay, perfect. Well, my boss is buying a property in this area. Again, he bought a property from me. That's how I became an employee of him. My mom was she was elderly, and then she gave me power of attorney so that I can sell the property. And he reached out to me, and he was able to buy my property, and then he offered me a job. boom, you brought up what they're recording, and you kind of brought a reason of how most likely that scenario is going to be the scenario of the seller you call it. But you have to bring it in related to it. So every single pain point, I kind of give him a long synopsis, scenario explanation, how to bring it into the conversation. And that's what I like about him. He's really good at conversating, but he's only really good when he actually does it. Getting him to actually do it is kind of sometimes tough. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm still going to bring you in my team because I know you're good, but you're not consistent. But I'm still going to pay you this because you're not consistent. So again, he's good when he's good doing it. When he's not doing it, if I rely on him, sometimes like I was telling him, dude, you leave 3 or 4 days and you don't tell me anything. And I'm just here like, is he working or not? So, but I gave him a chance because he's good when he's working. But yeah, that's the way that I was able to, all the 24 type of data points that I use, he has a synopsis. And every time, again, even though I shouldn't, every time that I tell him, hey, do this one, I screenshot the explanation of that type of lead and I send him to a WhatsApp. This is the type of client you're talking to now. Make sure that you make conversation, that you bring this conversation in. And again, when I first did it, when I went down to the sheet, every single point, I recorded myself talking about it, so he knows. And I kind of copy the description and I copy the voice attachment, so he knows what I'm talking about. As far as when I have an explanation, like if I was talking to myself about that deal, about that seller lead to myself, like if I was calling a client. So again, I'm making it as simple as possible. I'm literally doing the breadcrumbs so he can be successful, because if he's successful, then I'm successful. And you're like, well, should I do this? As far as doing this, maybe I should just hire somebody that does this, that knows this already from the beginning. Like, yeah, but they're so expensive. Again, if I'm telling you that I'm paying him, let's say both of my VAs $8,000 a year, right? If I get somebody that I don't have to worry about, it'll double $8,000 to $16,000. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, maybe you get more money because you don't have to go back and forth. And yeah, maybe, but I'm with this, I know that I can keep it at 8,000. I still want to be involved in my business. Again, I have some other side businesses, but I do still want to be involved in my business because I like real estate. I don't want to be out of the business. I like what I'm doing. Maybe later on, I can modify my type of business to be literally out of the business, but I like being in the business. Again, that's what keeps me drive. It gives me drive. Pulls me back to doing this, because I like to do what I do. Again, so yeah, going back to that, again, I try to breadcrumbs. I'm teaching how to do this by breadcrumbs, literally really small steps. So again, I put them in a place they can be successful. And I know they're gonna fail sometimes, most of the times, but I'm there. I'm not, oh, you fucking asshole. No, I'm just late. You failed, do this, correct it. And I do spot check. I do spot check their business, their what's it called? Their duties, because again, if you don't spot check, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry. Again, like my other VA, she does sometimes I spot check and, hey, you're not doing this, or you taking 40 minutes to go from this lead to the next lead, what's going on? Like, oh, I apologize. Again, she knows that I'm monitoring. So I'm not just a person that just gives and tell them and hope that it goes good. I know what I hired. I know who I have. So I have to be the person that's actually on the business, seeing them. Not every single day, but when I do it, I do see them and I hear what's going on. You're doing this. You're doing this. So yeah, that's one of the things that I've been doing that's kind of been helping me. And it helped again by it proved the concept by doing it. Again, it forced it to go on its own with me kind of stepping back, and it worked. Eventually, when I'm older, if it gets to the point where I want to be 100% out, then I already know that it works when I'm out. With me forcing it to do it, now that I'm willing to modify it to be a standalone business, then I know how to do it, because I know it works when it's forced to. Now that it's gonna be, we have the willingness to go 100% automatic, then it'll work. I know as well. But yeah, guys, again, just letting you know, it was a crazy month last month. It still worked. I still got deals. The system helped me out. Again, it proved that it works when I'm in or when I'm not, even though I'm 10% in the business as far as at night doing the things that I had to do on my own. But yeah, overall, great month in business. Yeah, keep on striving. Again, being able to understand that this business is still gonna go with or without you. It helped me. The system proved that it works without me, as long as I have 10%. But again, it proved the concept. We had a great month, and we're looking for a great year, and hope everybody has a great year as well. Again, and don't quit. Just keep on pushing through. And overall, let's have a great, successful weekend and a great, successful month. Again, you guys know, you can just reach out to me if you guys need any help, and let me know. Again, stay safe, be well, and let's have a great weekend.